Three, two, one. Hey guys, welcome back to the Malarkey Game Chatter podcast. Below me is Wolf, and to my direction where I'm pointing is Green, who is looks like he's getting ready for to go to Hawaii, but you know.
He's also stuffing his face full of food at the moment and drinking, but yeah.
He's basically he's being all-rounded American. He's trying to pick up every single American thing. Okay. Anyway, this time we are doing the big one, Elden Ring DLC. We were planning to do other things before this, but for one reason or another.
Your lazy ass scheduling, and because me and Wolf were busy last week.
I was scheduling, but was called you weren't fucking here. Wolf, I was doing something, and then we were playing the DLC. So I don't know what you want me to do about it. Okay, I'm not fucking Jesus.
So we were planning on doing another Crab's Treasure. That will be next week's one now, if we get time to play it, obviously, because we are still playing through the DLC and getting everything sorted for that. Mm-hmm. And we do also have other plans for a stream that we're planning on doing, which will be a run of Elden Ring, which should be pretty interesting to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be a link somewhere to the channel that'll be on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so swiftly moving on to Wolf's bit about.
I thought we were doing Green's bit first. Because
here, I'm the.
We were going to be doing Green's bit first because his bit was shorter than my bit. Then my bit was after the game chat.
You make an excellent point.
You want my thing? All right. Mm-hmm. So I looked on. I went on my laptop, and I opened Steam. It took it 2 years, but it did it. Basically, I looked at the reviews for the Elden Ring DLC, and surprise, surprise, they're mixed. There's the half of people who loved it, loved the challenge, and actually enjoyed it. And there's the other half of the people who bitch and whine that Elden Ring was too easy, and then they got what they deserved with the DLC being as hard as it is, and now they're bitching and whining about the DLC being as hard as it is.
Which I think all three of us have been in a place where we all have done that.
We all enjoy the DLC, and then there are some bosses which were a bit shitty.
Yeah. Up until the end, though, one of us suffered a lot less than the other. I won't go into who, though.
Say it, motherfucker.
Just say it.
Say
me.
It.
You suffered up until the end?
I'm saying me, but okay.
You did not suffer.
I struggled with two bosses. The rest, I had a cakewalk up until the last one. While you guys were like stuck on the hippo. You guys, Green got stuck on the Moon Knight.
I got stuck on all the first bosses, but as soon as I got to like the latter half, it was just easy. But then again, I did build a very overpowered build at that point.
Mm.
No shit, so did I.
Yeah, but as it stands, with Bale, curse you, Bale. Green was able to do it first or second try. Second try. I spent a weekend getting numerous migraines fighting him, and then Wolf cheesed him.
Yeah, I couldn't take it, so I just cheesed it.
So, yeah, that was fun.
Which on my new Game Plus character that I've just prestiged, I am going to try and fight him legitimately.
Legitimately in a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. With definitely not the lightning perfume bottles.
That's if they don't nerf it by the time I get there.
Yeah. But, yeah. So, anything else you want to add, Green? Or are you done with your bit?
How's the community with multiplayer? Do they help you a lot? Do they don't give a shit?
No. Well, you know this community does not give a shit.
Hey, I do want to put in a little remark, though, for that. On the final boss, there were so many people putting down their signs. There There was you tried to summon someone. It's already taken. It just spawns in. You click A, spam, gone. But I managed to get someone at the end who called "Let me tank him." There was loads of people called this, by the way. He wasn't specific, but he was able to tank every single hit of the final boss, which I'm not going to mention just because in case you haven't played the DLC yet. It's been a week. I don't know why you haven't, but in case you haven't, the final boss.
Well, also there are lots of videos of spoilers on that, so if you already haven't seen those, then
yeah,
do you live in a hole?
Yeah, but if you're looking at a review for the DLC and you don't want to be spoiled, then I'm not gonna say his name.
This is your spoiler warning for later on in the video.
Yeah.
Because we're most likely going to bring it up later on.
Yeah. If you okay, non-spoiler thing, it's good. Anyway, spoilers from here on out. But yeah, the let me tank him was he was able to take every single attack. There was loads of attacks that would have like killed you. He just sat there and just took it all. So that's what I would say community wise. I'm not sure it makes any big difference with the community, but I just want to mention that just before I forget.
There are a lot of people who will help you with certain bosses, but it's only those certain bosses. Mainly because most of the bosses are really easy to kill anyway. Anyway, okay.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Okay. So that was quick.
Yep.
And just as quick, we're going to move into game chatting.
The game chatting
of the chats.
No, gaming news.
Way to make it sound boring.
It does make it sound a bit too boring.
But updates coming soon on Xbox.
Nice little segue.
There is many games which is coming out, like the Flintlock game that was revealed during the Xbox showcase. It looks alright. I'm not sure I'm gonna play it, but it looks alright. There is a Star Wars Bounty Hunter game coming out, which it looks like it stars Jango Fett.
I've seen the reviews for that already. Everyone hates it.
It also apparently is a new game, but it looks like it came out in 2005, according to Wolf. Because it looks like a game that came out ages ago and they just redid it.
Star Wars Bounty Hunter?
Yep.
I might be remembering the name wrong.
Yeah, no.
Because if you look at the graphics, that is not a new game.
Is the new one Star Wars Bounty Hunter, or is it Star Wars
I'm gonna
Scavenger? Is it Scavenger? I don't remember now.
All I know, it's got Django Fett in it, and it, as Green said, apparently the views are not good.
Makes sense. A game I'm looking forward to is also one that coming to Game Pass, coming to Game Pass thing, is the Dungeons of Huntersburg. That looks interesting.
Yes.
It's kind of a puzzle solver, third person action type game where you're a dungeon hunter by the looks of it. You have to solve puzzles to progress through levels and kill monsters. It looks interesting.
Also, and coming soon to Xbox Store games is something I know Wolf will definitely like the look of, and that, well, not like the look of, but definitely want to play, is Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2.
Oh yeah, I really want to play that game. I played the original Space Marine. It's top tier, best Warhammer game that I played personally, and Warhammer 2 just looks amazing. And the fact that you have multiplayer in the campaign makes it 10 times better.
Yeah.
Up to 3 players, so we'll probably play that game, hopefully.
Yeah. I also will be playing a little bit of, I say a little bit, like one mission of Dark Tide, just to see what's like in the universe. Might play a bit more of it, might even review it on this podcast at some point. But yeah, that's something that could be quite interesting. Another game would be Test Drive, which from what I've seen seems to be like a open world car game set a bit in the future from the looks of it. But I won't know because I haven't really looked into that. There's a Dragon Ball Z game coming out. And yeah, there's a Life is Strange and a new Sonic game that looks for it.
No, the new Star Wars
There's
game
another Life
was
is
Star
Strange
Wars
game.
Outlaw.
Yeah, Star Wars Outlaw. There's I know there's another one coming out sooner than that called Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, which looks like it was an older game that they've repackaged as a newer one by the looks
Yeah.
of it.
But it stars Jungle Threat, so I'm more likely to play that than say the new one.
Yeah, well, the new one with its pricing is ridiculous.
Yep.
You have the gold edition, which is $104.99, and then you have the ultimate edition, which is $119.99.
Yeah.
And the standard edition is still $69.99. That's fucking expensive.
Yeah. Also, in most paid games currently, it wouldn't surprise you that the not Destiny 2, don't know why that was in my head, but the Elden Ring DLC is on the top for that.
Understandable.
Doesn't surprise me, and Elden Ring is not surely behind that by both players. And then the actual bundle for both the game and the DLCs was a bit before that as well. And then besides that, there's nothing particularly of note. There's obviously GTA, FIFA, Minecraft, you know, the usuals.
The normal stuff.
Yeah. So, any of you got some game chatter to add?
I don't know when this game came out. But a game I've been looking at recently is the first Descendant.
Oh, that's coming
I
out
don't know.
2nd of July.
Apparently it's out now. Because I'm able to download it free.
Yeah, well, apparently it's on Xbox. Apparently it's coming out on Xbox. But every time I search it, it says it's not available.
I just saw it on the Xbox store on the recently added tab.
Really?
Yeah. Or the new games tab, and it was the first one that was there. First Descendant. On Xbox Series X and S.
I don't see it.
It's weird. Why is it there for me but not you?
Top new games, you said, right?
Yeah,
versus
new
Silent.
games.
But it's also free.
Yeah, it's free, which seems interesting. I do like the look of the game, but I'm not sure how it's gonna act. It might end up being something more like Anthem, which personally I do enjoy, but it got kind of boring.
Well,
and
it's had to pay
repetitive.
for Anthem as well.
True, you did have to pay for Anthem. This one's a free to play by the looks of it, which is
Well, this
kind of
potentially could be something we could do after another Crab's Treasure.
Yeah, I was thinking that because it looks interesting, and the trailer for it looked cool.
Yeah, it did. There is in-game transactions though, so if that puts you off, then there's that too.
Yeah. There are a lot of 5-star reviews for it, which are mainly there is a 1-star review. But a lot of people are saying that they can't wait to actually jump in and play it.
So maybe
Which,
maybe you can download it, but the server's not up until the 2nd of July. Maybe I don't know.
Today, apparently, release date the 30th of the 6th.
Really? Every time I looked at it, it said 2nd of July.
30th of the 6th to 2024 release date. It literally came out today. Apparently.
Wow.
To the Xbox store.
So now everyone knows the recording of this this podcast.
Yeah, that's certainly one way to start this off, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that's pretty much everything I can.
And just to wrap it up, is there any big moments in games that you've done recently? Like you had a particularly good game in something, or
not really. Other than beating the final boss in the Elden Ring DLC with my new build, which I fucking love at the moment because it basically one-shots everything.
Yeah. If I have the clip for the Rodan, when you kill the Rodan in my game, I'll put that here with no audio. So if you want to see it, it'll be in the recording version of this, right here. If I do it, if not, I'm just gonna be wiggling my hands.
Yep, you're just gonna be like.
But yeah, I think that's enough of Conversation Street. Why am I saying conversation stream?
It, because technically we are taking
It is heavily influenced by it. But that's enough
Grandpa.
of game chatter, game chatting,
Yep.
chatting things.
game chatter.
Remaining consistent.
Yeah.
And now we're on to yours, Wolf.
Yep. So, as we did last time, I am the guy who did some research on the Elden Ring DLC and found some new lore and shit out. Any questions?
What's the main complaint for the DLC?
The main complaint of the DLC is the DLC is too hard.
Shocker.
Most people would say that the game is too hard now because people who had prestige their character a load of times going into New Game Plus 5 and then went into the DLC expecting it to be a cakewalk, but got straight to the first boss without exploring and then ate shit because they didn't explore, get any of the Erdtree fragments and level up their character in the new leveling up system.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are complaining about that you have to kill Moog and Rodan to get there purely because people look at the statistics. For the statistics of the achievement to kill Moog is a really low number.
So people are also, like you said, they are also kind of complaining that they have to kill those two bosses to get in there. For the lore reasons, is understandable, and obviously,
but also you have to
makes sense.
think as well that the only reason why 34 people have got to it because a lot of people probably have got the game, played it for like a couple of hours, thought it's a bit too not really their kind of thing, and then stopped because the game was quite popular.
Yeah.
So a lot of people bought it and maybe not even finished it. So that's probably why it's so.
The other thing is there are so many people who are saying, because people are complaining that you have to kill Moog and Rodan, there are so many people just saying the game's been out for 2 years now, and you haven't killed Rodan or Moog yet. What the fuck? Just get on with it.
I've been spending so much time on Rodan and Nimgrave, man.
I've done everything in the game, and I didn't take that long to kill those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Granted,
as we speak, I literally just killed Radon, so.
See?
Yeah, but granted, if you're like doing a super blind playthrough and you don't know what the fuck you're doing anyway, maybe, but that's a really, really big excuse for something that you don't really need an excuse for.
But the game has been out for 2 years. If you haven't seen tutorials or anything on how to get to places or do things, then
that's on you.
Yeah, not the game developers. Just because you haven't killed 2 bosses doesn't mean that the game is bad.
And also the fact that you get like a lot of games make it as well that you have to do stuff before you can get to the DLC anyway, because the DLC is normally like an end game thing anyway in most games.
For example, Dark Souls 3 had its 2 DLCs, which one of them you couldn't really access until the end game anyway.
Yeah.
And I am personally having a bit of trouble with that end game DLC because of one specific area in specific.
Hmm.
We're not talking about that today. Okay, any other questions?
I also wanted to bring up the point with the difficulty as well. If you look at all the other FromSoft games, the other DLCs have just been harder. Well, the main reason I can think off the top of my head, Dark Souls 1 with Artorias, that was the hardest point in that entire game for me. Easily.
Oh yeah.
And in fact, I will admit, it's not my proudest moment. I did cheese the final boss.
Yeah. With Dark Souls in particular and FromSoft, they always make their DLCs harder than the base game.
And also, just to add a fair point to, it's normally an end game kind of thing, DLCs. If we're moving away from FromSoft, for example, there is Monster Hunter World with Iceborne.
True, yes.
You have to complete the entire game to even get there. Yeah,
it is very in-game, but also Iceborne's just really fun.
Yeah, but it's just an example.
Yeah.
Like, what would you rather do? Would you rather go and fight Rodan and Moog, or play the entire story of Iceborne just to get to the DLC? We're out.
the entire story of Monster Hunter World just to get to the.
I mean, Iceborne's still fun. I'm not comparing how, like, if it's worth it for either one, but I'm just saying in terms of just effort to get to it.
2 bosses, an entire game.
Yeah. So, I don't really see the complaints with that, but...
No, I don't either, but people have issues and we can't stop them from having their own opinions.
Yeah.
We're just throwing our 2 cents in. Anyway, any other questions you guys have about the Elden Ring DLC Shadow of the Erdtree?
Why is it always so... I probably shouldn't say this, but why is it always that the family tree in Elden Ring is so fucked? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, that one's a bit more harder to explain.
See, this is why
the family tree. The family tree is a bit fucked up, because, well,
yeah,
Miquella. It is Miquella, right?
Yeah, it's Miquella.
Miquella and Radagon. Miquella and Radagon are the same one. Yeah. So
what?
because
no, Marika and Radagon.
It was Marika. Yeah, Miquella's the
son
child with the curse,
who's always
which
young.
makes him young all the time, and the one who's I'm not going to say anymore because spoilers. I don't know if we actually want to put spoilers in. Are you alright with spoilers,
Just
people?
like some massive red flags. Spoiler! Spoiler!
Skip to this time if you don't want to get spoiled.
Or we don't do that because it's going to be really awkward edit, but sure.
True. Yeah, but so screw it. Everyone at this point hopefully knows that Miquella is in the final boss fight.
Oh, that's not that. I don't think that's the spoiling part.
No, but everyone knows that Miquella is in the final boss fight.
Yeah.
So Marika and Radagon are the same person.
Yeah.
And they had children with themselves, which was a bit weird.
It's still unclear if they were split at the time or they did like a frog sex inside each other thing.
Yeah, who knows? They could be. Yeah, they banged and had 3 kids. If you guys don't know already, those 3 kids were Melania, Miquella, and Mesmer. Yeah.
Though there is some debate that potentially Mesmer could be way earlier, but
true. It's a bit harder to say with that one. And then before that, Radagon had children with Renala. Yeah, Radagon had children with Renala, which was
Rykard, Ranni, and Radon.
Yeah, those 3.
With Renala's sister being Renana, who is the boss in the DLC, the Moon Knight.
Yeah, which I'm still kind of confused on why she went over to the
She followed
Shadow
Mesmer.
Realm I never learned the reason why. I never read the descriptions.
They were close, apparently.
That one.
That's what
they were close. Close, do you think, or?
Well, they're technically R'Lana is the aunt-in-law to Mesmer.
Yeah, but if you think about it, do you really think they have much in the way of dignity when it comes to that, since his potential father and mother are the same person?
It's a grey area.
It's a grey area.
I'm not sure how to really talk about
moral grey area.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so the family chief for that is a bit fucked up. And you got the whole Mother of Fingers and everything, which is its own separate thing, but still weird.
Yeah, technically it could be the daughter of the Great Will itself, apparently.
True. The Mother of Fingers could be the daughter of the Great Will that lost connection to the Greater Will for some reason. I don't remember why.
Yeah.
Because the Greater Will just fucked off to do its own thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Or something happened, and either way, the information and the whole golden order that was built off it was technically outdated.
And not correct, but they took it as gospel.
It was misinterpreted, is the best way to put it.
Yeah. Like some of the religions nowadays are misinterpreted.
Ooh, that's a bag of area which we will not touch further on.
We're not going to touch further on that because Yeah, but there are so many things that you learn nowadays which are weird in
Yeah.
school. Anyway, any other questions for my section?
The
I'll try and
area,
answer
how,
to my
like what
ability.
the world in sense of areas, in the terms of like, what are the areas like? What is their strengths, and what do you think? So, like, what do you think are the best examples? And then maybe is there one that isn't so good,
So,
or what's your opinion?
so the areas I found in the maps were honestly pretty cool. I enjoyed the entire map as a whole.
The
There
main
were
areas that I
some,
can remember of, there is the jungle place. There's the graveyard, which you start in. Scattered
yeah,
altars, which is in the main area. Then there's the red flower
Jagged Peaks.
area, the blue flower area, the dragon area, and then there's the area where Marika was from.
Yeah.
So that's like
So,
7 places.
well, and you also forgot about the Abyss as well.
Oh yeah, the abyss. That's 8. Oh, so I didn't
So,
count the peaks over. So that's 9.
yeah. So, personally, I enjoyed the entire map. It was really nice to see it and walk through it / ride your horse through it. I
Would it
think the
surprise you if I
only
like the Abyss?
no, it wouldn't. I like the Abyss as well.
A lot
One
of
of
what
the
I've heard, a lot of people
coolest
do like
areas.
that in the sense that because it's a stealth area. Other people like
Yeah.
that, but
Oh no, I like it
So-
purely because it's the friendly area.
fair.
Yes.
Though I kind of
So-
blitz through it anyway, so it's not really a stealth area for me. But
Personally, the only area that let me down was the starting area where the Scorched Ruins. It was
Really?
a little bit lackluster compared to the rest of the map.
I mean,
Jagged Peaks was quite dramatic. The blue flower area is fucking gorgeous.
I would have said the red flower area because it was just not much of it.
I like the red flower area because it's like the blue flower area, but it's got its own twist.
I have told you this too before already, but I like the idea of just the 2 flower fields in general. Like the
They're
contrasting
both cool.
colors. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I just feel like the blue one outweighs the red one, outproportionally,
Yeah.
in my
Oh
opinion.
no shit! It outweighs it.
The blue one is better than the red one, but they both have their own unique intrigue to me. But yeah, my favorite area is definitely the Abyss as well, because just getting down there the first time, because I didn't spoil myself at all, riding into the area just to get knocked off a torrent was like the most scariest shit.
So spooky.
And then I got through the entire area with no enemies in sight at all, to then turn on my phone a couple of minutes later of getting to the church and seeing people say, "Do not get seen. Combat is not an option." That terrified me. And then I saw a video of someone parrying the guy and then just killing it. It was like, oh,
Okay.
Yeah, for me though, my experience of the abyss is very different.
yeah, you
I wasn't
really
terrified at all. I just wanted to get through it.
Personally, it's really cool. I wish it had more to it still. The Shadow Keep, on the other hand, that one was a bit.
I think that's just the biggest. Well, actually, I might be spitting here like the wrong thing, but I think that's the biggest dungeon, like legacy dungeon in the game now.
Yeah, it is. There are so many different ways of getting into the Shadow Keep. Technically, we didn't. And out. Technically, we didn't even need to fight the hippo to get into the Shadow Keep.
Technically,
Because there's a way of getting in there from the Cathedral District.
Yeah, I found it.
But honestly, fighting through the hippo is still the better way to get in there. Because, yes, the hippo was a pain in the ass to fight. It was still fun. It's better to fight a boss than not to.
So you say the graveyard's my most disappointed area, and then the abyss is your favorite. I'm assuming Green for him said he said the abyss was his favorite. What do you think was the most disappointing area for yourself, Green?
Frankly, the Jagged Peak.
That's fair.
Understandable. It is a little bit lackluster, but
It's
honestly,
not really much of an area. It's more of just a path that you just get to a boss.
it's a path to a boss.
It's more of a
It's very
gauntlet, if
linear,
anything, because you fight a dragon, then you fight a better version of that dragon, and then a better version of that dragon.
Yeah. I actually found the ancient dragon harder than the boss because I cheesed the boss, but
Well, that doesn't count then.
yeah. The two dragons
Literally.
below it were better, but my
The only
perfume build
decent bit of the dragon, the only decent bit of the jagged peak is Braille's boss arena, and that's it.
Yeah, I didn't get to see much of it during the
yeah.
fight, but like once the fight's done, it's probably one of the most beautiful areas in the DLC, just because of the
Yeah.
flowers and
Also-
all that.
Also, speaking of Braille, you know how in the lore that him and Dragon Lord Parthenax fought, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you actually take the time to look at Braille, you can see the heads of Dragon Lord Parthenax wrapped around him.
Yeah, that
Like
makes
dead
sense.
ass. You can see them biting into his back.
Yeah. Lore-wise, yes, Bale and Parthenax 4. I was kind of hoping that we were going to be fighting Prime Parthenax as well, because that would be really cool to see. Yes, it would be awful to fight through, because
I mean,
we've
not to
weaker
spoil or
version of-
anything, but I feel that'd be there's a kind of a one-trick pony fighting something in its prime. And
Yeah,
also,
true.
I don't want to fight the Dragon Lord in his prime.
Yeah, when you fight him in
It was
his
it was bad enough that we got to fight the
state.
thing in its prime already.
It wasn't too bad, but then again, I did kind of three-shot him.
Hmm.
Perfume builds the perfume build is just really strong.
Yeah.
If you want an easy way to grind through the game very quickly. But
For me, my favorite area though, I'm torn
Honestly-
between the jungle area
yeah,
and the Karen Coast. I'm torn between
Both of
those
those
two
are
places.
very good
But I think I might go
options.
for the jungle area just because the Scarlet Rot. Though I don't like Scarlet Rot too much about itself alone, I do feel like aesthetically wise, it's Scarlet Rot is more beautiful side because there's two sides of Scarlet Rot. There's the beauty side, like the flowers, the butterflies,
the blooms and stuff. Yeah.
and then there's obviously the rotten side, which we normally which you don't really see in the main game, which is the putrid avatar. Melania's kind of between that. The only room where we kind of see like the beauty of it is really Melania's boss room, and then when she dies, the thing. But everywhere else you see Scarlet Rot is like the putrid side of it. So to see the other side of Scarlet Rot well in the DLC is quite cool. And in terms of the most disappointing area, the Abyss.
Well, yeah, you didn't really have a good.
I just saw it annoying that I couldn't use Torrent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just very practical in the
it's
sense that it's just
understandable.
annoying. And then
It's
there's
understandable.
an area you can't really fight the enemies. That's just annoying to me.
Well, you can, but it's not easy to kill them.
I know. It seems like it's just an area that's. I think the best way I can put it is it's a very gimmicky area,
Yeah.
and I'm not a big fan of gimmick fights in general. Like the Bed of Chaos.
Well, yeah. That's the better chaos.
Yeah, but the point is, it's a gimmick fight. I'm not the best. Gimmick fights are kind of with me. They range between to like just being forgettable, or I just don't like them. So that's why I'm gonna have to save those two places myself.
Completely understandable. You didn't really have the best impression when you went down there.
Well,
Kind of
one, I was
expected
technically spoiled in it, but two, I wouldn't have cared anyway.
Since I'm looking up that way for Green.
Yep.
He's the one who spoiled it.
Did you fart green?
What?
Just went like this.
Oh, I think he was doing the
Well,
on
I
and on
thrusted my
thing.
hand up like I don't give a shit.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the map itself is pretty cool for the size it is. Yes, it is slightly smaller than the base game map, but it feels bigger than what it actually
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I think the best way to put it, it's like, even though the map is about maybe like the size of Limgrave, Wind Peninsula, and Caled with a bit of Limgrave, Lake Slurnia, how much is condensed in it? It's almost as if all those areas, all Ixalernia and Altus Plateau with a bit of, I mean, maybe even all of Mount Gelmir is all cramped into that one area.
Yeah. It feels a lot bigger than what it is. You
Yeah.
could probably easily ride Torrent from one side of the map to the other in like
Well, it wouldn't
half
take
an hour.
long. It wouldn't take long to get from one side to the other, but the amount of
No,
places
it
you would go
wouldn't.
through, the amount of like different places you go
Different
through, what
things
you'd
and-
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very good map in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's better to have.
It is a spectacle to see as well.
It's better to have a small map that's full of many things than a big map
Then-
that's not full of a lot.
A big map that's empty.
Not saying that the normal Elden Ring map is not. The Elden Ring
Oh
map's
no,
very good.
Elden Ring.
It's just if you're having a DLC,
Oh
I'd
yeah,
have
no,
a
this
good.
The Elden Ring map has a lot of stuff in it still,
Yeah,
but the new map for the Shadow of the Erdtree has a lot
yeah.
in a small area.
As to put best from what I've seen is a lot of other game developers would package a DLC and sell it as a game, or FromSoft made a DLC and packaged it as a game. Hang on, backtrack.
You kind of said that wrong. So, other game developers will package a game and call it a game with a DLC that's not very much. For example, Star Wars Outlaw. The DLCs that come with that, the season pass, is one mission.
Oh, so another one, Call of Duty, is normally quite criticized for that as well.
Yeah, Call of Duty literally is rather criticized for that. Where
no,
FromSoft
the whole Call of Duty franchise can be sold as one game. They just keep making it because.
Yeah, Call of Duty. But with FromSoft, they can package a DLC as a game.
Yeah.
It's basically an entire new area. It's an entire new game if it wasn't attached to another game.
Yeah, it could easily be like a spin-off. It's spin-off size, basically.
Yeah.
So if FromSoft went the Call of Duty route, we would have a new Elden Ring game compared to what we have now, which is a lot better in my opinion, because we didn't have to go buy an entirely new game. We just bought a DLC for a cheaper price than what other game developers would put for games such as, again, Star Wars Outlaw.
Yeah.
That price is still ridiculous.
Yeah. Because people say as well, like the 3-day early release, if you have the certain edition, that's the actual release date. Everyone who didn't get that gets it late.
Yeah. That is literally the case. You get it on the release date instead of everyone else who gets it
3 days late.
3 days later. And the season pass is one mission and a soundtrack. And that's it.
If I want to listen to a Star Wars soundtrack, I'm not going to play go to Outcast, whatever. I'm going to listen to fucking The Phantom Menace. Or
that's like the better Star Wars
Revenge of the Sith or Return of the Jedi. There's better music for Star Wars.
You don't go and listen to. You don't go and pay $119.99 for a soundtrack and an extra mission.
Yeah, a soundtrack that you'll probably find on YouTube in about 4 days.
Exactly.
So,
but yeah, back to Elden Ring. Is there any other questions?
Okay, bosses. There's about 10, I think. I remember big bosses. Because there's the lion, there's the lion.
Are we talking about remembrance bosses? Are we talking about remembrance bosses?
So there's the lion, the knight, Mesmer,
the lion,
Finger,
Mesmer.
Madness. Technically, Bale does count.
Yeah, he did the remembrance. So
he counts because his heart's technically his remembrance.
Well,
technically, I would count because you get two dragon things with it.
Yeah, but you kind of do that with the other dragons as well. But
the Scarlet Rottleman.
Yep.
So that's about. Oh, the Boar Rider.
Did you say the Putrid Knight?
Boar Rider.
Putrid Knight. So yeah, that's 10.
Putrid Knight 10.
So
and the final boss as well.
Oh yeah, final boss. That's 11 technically.
So there are 11 bosses.
Or 10 if you don't count Bale. It's up to you. I count Bale, but if you don't have to yourself.
And then you also have all of the little bosses as well around the map scattered.
So what do you think, just of you guys, because all of us have completed the DLC, so we should know this.
Yes, we should.
What's your tier list for all the bosses off the top of your head? So if you can't remember them all, it's fine, but just a general tier list.
So
we'll start with Wolf.
Start with me. For all of them, honestly, don't belong in the F tier. They all have their own good qualities. I would have to put the Lion Dancer at my last spot still, because that bitch was just annoying.
Yeah.
I did not like his fight, mainly because it was just really difficult for me. He's cool. He has an interesting gimmick where he changes his elemental damage.
There's that, and also he's also duplicated as well in a different area.
There is a second one of him, but the duplication does have a different set of elemental damage.
It has Death Blight. It's not flying.
It has Death Blight instead of electricity, I think.
It might be wind. It makes sense. It replaces wind.
Death Blight instead of frost.
Oh yeah, it's frost. So he's definitely the more annoying one out of all of them.
Yeah.
After that, I would have to say in my second to last spot was the probably the hippo.
Oh, we're counting the hippo.
Yeah, we're counting the hippo.
Okay.
Because I remember the hippo, and he was my second boss I could not beat for a while.
Yeah.
He was just really annoying.
I got my second attempt.
And you got it on your second time, which was annoying. After the hippo is Scarlet Rot Lady, in my opinion, because she had a few cool moves, but she wasn't really anything too special. And then the Boar Rider after the Scarlet Rot Lady, because Boar Rider, he was cool. Gravity magic, interesting. I didn't have that much of a hard time against him, but
yeah.
That face green just made me look like I was dumb. Then it was the Finger Mother, because Finger Mother was meh.
Fair.
The Frenzied Lord, the Lord of Frenzy, he was next. Pretty fun. The first half of his boss fight, way too easy. The second half, it's a bit harder, but well, what do you expect? He was alright. It wasn't too. What, you found the second phase easier than the first
so
phase.
fucking easy. I may as well be Invader.
Did you find the second phase easier than the first phase?
I found it on par.
No shit, he's running a Oonka Boonka strength build. Why are you surprised?
But
I found it on par.
Honestly, the Frenzied Lord was definitely one of my more favorite fights. Then after that, it would be Mesmer, because I didn't really enjoy Mesmer's boss fight as much. It was a bit too meh. And when he transitioned into his second phase, I found that a lot easier than his first phase. Which is a bit weird, because people say his second phase is harder than the first phase.
Yeah, and I was able to... I don't know, I keep saying this, I don't know what I did in my second phase, but he was alive, and then something, my screen just got covered in loads of stuff, he was going to attack, my guys were doing an attack, I was doing an attack, and then he was dead.
You and your mimic might have hit him at the exact same time, and a bleed proc happened.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have died single-handedly to a bleed proc.
But you and your mimic, both at the same time, hitting him with the jump attack boost from your armor, with those the stars, it would make sense that his health went from
around about half.
To nothing. Around about half to nothing.
Yeah, from full to half, yeah.
After that, I would have to go with Runala's sister. Rolana. I'd go for her because she was a really fun fight. Kind of put me on the ball a little bit more of dodging techniques, and her double moon with the ground pound afterwards. I figured out how to dodge that during her fight. Which
Barely
was
even saw
jump.
that.
Yeah, you didn't even see it once because again, you're running an Ooga Booga strength build. You hit shit and it dies. I have to dodge shit and then it dies. But yeah,
The joys of having a strength build.
and her second phase with the magic flame weapon, oh, that's just cool. Reminds me of the dancer back in Dark Souls 3.
Well, a lot of people say it reminds them of Pontus Sullivan or Lady Maria from
True.
Bloodborne.
Pontus Sullivan definitely as well because, double weapons, one magic, one fire.
And then the way
Makes
she was
sense.
attacking people were reminded by Lady Maria from Bloodborne.
That's understandable. I haven't played that one, so I don't know.
I've seen it and I can kind of see it. I've not played it though,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
And then I think that's every boss except from the final boss, which I think is top tier, number 1 for me. Yes, I did.
You've got the Putrescent Knight. Putrescent Knight.
Putrescent? No, which one's that one?
The Saint
Abortion.
Citrina.
Yeah, that's number 2. Because it reminded me of the Orphan from Bloodborne. That boss fight is. I've watched that boss fight so many times, and that's one of the only reasons I want to play Bloodborne was because of that fight.
Mm.
Yes, it's going to be a bitch if I ever do start playing Bloodborne and get a PlayStation 2 play it, but it's going to be awesome when I do.
Yeah.
And then it's the final boss because it's one of the coolest boss fights I've had. Yes, I did kind of cheese it a little bit in my own right because my build was just really overpowered. But it did take me like 5 attempts to be able to consistently get him from first phase into second phase, and then it took me a few more attempts to get from second phase to him being dead.
Yeah. I like how you didn't count Bale. That's nice.
Oh, Bell, yeah, no, I didn't count him because
You didn't fight him properly.
I didn't fight him properly. I literally went and did a stealth build, snuck up behind him, and then poison misted his ass until he died.
Yep.
I won't count him because I didn't fight him properly. If I did fight him properly, he would probably be second, with the Orphan being third. What? Do you disagree with that?
I disagree.
Yeah, he disagrees with that.
Okay, so Green, you want to do yours?
I zoned the fuck out. What?
What's your order of bosses in worst to best?
Okay, worst. Hog Rider.
Okay,
Because-
understandable.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then the Scarlet Rot Woman.
Fair.
And
Okay.
then I'd say Mother of All Fingers because that fight was kind of boring.
Fair.
Then we got Mesmer.
It's
Then we got the Ronalda's sister. I liked her boss fight as much as the word frustration does not describe how much I hated that fight.
Yeah. You did have a lot of difficulty with that fight.
Yeah.
No shit, I know, I was there.
Yeah.
Then we got the final boss. It was all right. Then we got who else am I forgetting?
The horse boy.
Horse boy.
Yeah, the Putrid Knight. It was all right. Then we got the Dancing Line. Oh, I fucking hated that. I hated it.
But
Both versions of it. I fucking hated both of them.
But you'd put that high up on your list.
Oh yeah, no, it's number 3. They were amazing, but I fucking hated it.
Fair enough.
What about the Madness guy?
Lord of Frenzy Flame.
tier, God tier. I fucking loved that fight.
And
Bill!
Curse you!
Yeah, considering
Braille!
because I was the one who actually fought Braille and didn't have as much trouble as a certain someone in the room.
Yeah, that one over there.
Ooga booga, ooga booga.
Ooga Booga strength build. Technically me as well, because I cheated. But yeah.
Yeah, no.
I was fighting the boss in
I
hard
legit-
mode.
No, Riley, you were dying to the boss.
In hard
Scrub.
mode.
In hard mode.
Yeah.
He had range
So
for
I'm
the
guessing-
record. I had to melee him. Just want that for the record.
Yeah. So I'm guessing Braille would be your second, and Frenzy Flame would be your first.
Braille's my second. Yeah, Braille's my second.
Frenzy Flame's first. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And for me,
Considering every time we play this game, I go for the Frenzy ending, does it really surprise you that he's my top tier?
no,
It
it doesn't.
Yeah.
Though,
Yeah.
even though my grievances with Bale, I'm gonna remain as level as possible, and say for the bottom of the bottom of the batch, I would say the Lion.
Yeah, agreed.
Purely for the fact it's forgettable for me. Like, it's annoying at the time. It's like a shit. It really, like, put up, like, it's right up there and it's real rock hard and you can't get out. It's really annoying at the time, but after you've done it, you go and sit down, you don't really remember it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird analogy, but I think it works.
It is a bit of a weird analogy, but yeah, it does work a little bit.
Then the mother of all fingers. Not everything against the fight. It's just, as Green said, it's just kind of boring.
I think I saw a few moves that you guys didn't see.
I saw her use her big violet orb that spawns out of her ass maybe once.
I saw her use it.
I saw her doing a spinner thing.
Yeah, I saw her create a black hole, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. Then after that, I put the Putrescent Knight because, again, it's in the same kind of pile of it's cool. It's not forgettable like the first one, which is the Lion, but it's kind of there.
Yeah.
And I don't really like it, but I still think it's better than the finger. Then after that, I'd say Rolana. Like the fight, arguably one of the coolest choreography for a boss, in my opinion. But I think it's kind of just version of that territory of I kind of like it, but it's not anything special. Actually it's beginning to get special, but it's not like in the same category, in my opinion, as the other bosses. Then it's Bale, and I would admit Bale would be higher, but I have massive problems with him, and for just myself, which would be I usually not use the track on point. It's a flaw, I admit, but it's how I play the game. So when you're tracking the guy's head, and when he moves around like a fucking slinky, it's really hard to hit him.
When he moves around like a Beyblade, yeah, it doesn't help.
So if they like move, they don't even have to change any of the difficulty in that fight. In my opinion, that's fine. I don't mind having a hard boss. Or even if you might not have been hard if this was there anyway. But if they just moved or had an extra point on his chest, that would make the fight way more fair and less bullshitty, in my opinion. So that's why he's in that place. Then I'd say Mesmer. Mesmer, I had no issues with. He was kind of special. Don't know how he fucking died. Then the Hog Rider, because I again had no really issue. No, I don't really, but actually, he's kind of forgettable. But I think he was better than Mesmer. Then I would have the Frenzy Flame guy. Then the final boss, and then the Scarlet Rot boss.
You really did like that Scarlet Rot boss, didn't you?
I like again. I like one of the reasons why I liked the Rolana is the choreography of the boss fight. Again, there's the beauty side of Scarlet Rot, and the music was very good as well.
I will agree.
I would argue if I was doing a tier list based off just music from the game, it would be on the top of that tier list.
Riley, didn't we have a whole conversation about how you could hear Melania's theme in the...
Yeah, you can hear it in that. I also like Melania's theme, so it doesn't surprise me. So yeah.
Yeah, we all got our own opinions and everything, so...
So anything you want to cap off on, Werewolf?
All in all, the DLC has been quite fun. Yes, people have complained that it's difficult, but I think the difficulty actually made it better, in my opinion. Because normally the FromSoft DLCs normally do make it better if you have it a bit difficulty tweak.
Yeah.
As the stalkers from Payday would say, this is a difficulty tweak.
One of the biggest things that I think people complain about, well, not biggest thing, it's not a lot of people, but some people do complain about, which is the actual exploring for the Erdtree and the revered ash things, because people don't want to explore. I personally think that was a good thing because it kind of makes you want to explore the map more. It's like, how do I get to this area because I want to get this item? And it kind of
like,
it gives you more emphasis on it. Because in all Elden Ring, sure, there's those items, but you can kind of just blaze through without really doing any of that, and you kind of miss like major phases. Like, I still haven't found the fucking Jar Village.
oh,
I
yeah, I
still
know
haven't
exactly
found
where
that.
that is now. You haven't found Jarsburg?
I know where
Yeah.
it is.
I also know where it is.
Yeah, I've just never had a reason to go there, so why would I go there?
The only reason I know where Jarburg is because I looked at Alexander's quest line, and it's one of the last places that you go for the quest line. There's a young Jar there that you kind of like persuade him to follow in Alexander's like footsteps.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I actually ended up there by accident. I thought I was going there for something else, but
makes sense.
So my point still stands. I feel like it's a good thing because it's an incentive to explore.
Yeah, which honestly, the base Elden Ring game, it kind of has that same incentive with the golden seeds a little bit, but you can kind of go to certain places and go like, oh, I know where this, and this is already. I might as well go there, and there. You don't have to look at anything else.
And
unless
also,
you want to 100% the game.
And also having some areas locked behind dungeons, because then it makes like, oh, how do I get here? So you start going through dungeons to look for it, and then boom, you have dungeons done. And then also the things that lock the spirit jumps as well. I think that's good. Because you look around and you see things that you might have missed initially because you're looking for that bloody thing that allows you to jump.
Yeah. So, for example, with the lock behind the dungeons, we have the Abyss and the Giant Peak.
Yeah, peaks.
Those are really the only two that I know of. Well, technically Ra as well, but you kind of have to go
through Shadowkeep. So that's not really the same.
It's not really the same, but yeah.
And then to a lesser extent as well, to get to the map for Ra, you have to go through like a little mist area, which again, one of the reasons why it's so good they have the Skadoosh tree thingy. Because if you look at those statues because only under like Malarkey statues, so if you see it, oh, what's this? And then you're oh, there's a passageway here. Where's this go? And then boom, you're in this massive area, which then takes you to the map.
And also in that area, you get the two-handed talisman, as well as a red bear to fight.
Yeah.
And also the red bear mausoleum fight.
And if you keep going down, you can eventually get down to the Solarian coast. So.
Yep. And there's also another dungeon to the north near that red bear. After that little tunnel past the Malarkey statue that me and Green did together. The boss in there wasn't too special, but it was.
Yeah, I feel like we got a pretty good understanding by the game now. So let's get to
Mausoleum.
Yeah. That's where the four bosses are. There's one north, east, west, and south.
Yeah, so honestly, I love the nameless mausoleums. The north and the south one were too easy. The east and west, oh god, they just took me a while to do.
The first one you get to, I'm pretty sure, is the west one, right?
It's the west one, yeah. The guy.
That one wasn't hard for me. It was just because we're there very early level. I just had to get good, as you like to say. The rest, though, I had no problem with.
I had a problem with the west and east by a landslide. It took me near enough 25 attempts to beat the east one.
What?
Yeah, that's how many times I fought
attempt.
The thing is, I was still using the giant katana at the time, the great katana, and the moveset was way too slow, and it was just chunking me. I don't think I had enough Skadu fragments. So I went and leveled up a little bit more.
I did go to it quite a bit later than you did, probably.
Yeah, I went there quite a lot earlier than you. I got a lot more Skadi fragments. I went and changed up my weapon to the greatsword, the one from the west mausoleum. I then went back there, and then it took me out of the 25 attempts, like two or three attempts from that 25 to then beat him. Because I kind of learnt his moveset at that point. I was just getting caught off guard by how surprisingly long range the Great Katana can be.
Just bonk them in the
It was
head.
the. Well, yeah, I don't run a bonk. The thing is, I didn't run a bonk build.
Well, maybe that's where you're
Just-
going wrong with the big, long, heavy, slow weapon.
Yeah.
If you're
Honestly,
gonna if you're gonna have something like that's that slow, you may as well make it a bonk build. That's what I'm just saying.
Yeah. The Great Katanas are not really that. Honestly,
Their
they're
bonk
cool.
potential is low.
Yeah, it is rather low. Though personally, I do love the light greatswords. The single light greatsword two-handed, its
Yeah.
moveset can transition between light and heavy attacks so seamlessly. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I love how it goes because you go from a high guard into another high guard into a low guard by your side, when then you can then go for a heavy attack to do a double sweep, end up in another low guard, do another double sweep, end up in a high guard to then do 2 other light attacks and finish off the chain. It's amazing to do, and it's
Yeah.
so seamless. The only light greatsword I have leveled up is one of the NPC light greatswords from just before the final boss fight,
Yeah.
and its Ash of War isn't the best, where you kind of summon light projectiles which lock on and circle around the target and hit them. It's fun, but Green can attest to it not being that good in PvP.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. For context, me and Wolf were up last night testing a bunch of weapons, and he used it against me, and it was so easy to dodge. It literally did nothing.
Yeah. I then switched over to one of the Death Knight axes, the big great axe. That's fun. I enjoy that axe quite a lot. Because
Yes.
you turn into a lightning bolt, dash forward, where if someone attacks you whilst you're dashing, they don't hit you. You can then jump up into the sky, hit them with the axe, and then a lightning bolt hits them afterwards. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I do enjoy some of the new weapons in the game,
Yeah.
but yeah,
But I think we've got pretty good coverage now of
Yep.
many things.
most of the things I can think of.
Okay, let's end off with the. We've heard a lot about quite good things. What do you think the one main critique or critiques that you have for the DLC, from a personal point standpoint?
There's not enough content.
I wouldn't agree with that
We
statement.
need
Chris.
more shit.
There is a lot of stuff to do in the Shadow of the Erdtree.
I agree to the sense that I want there to be another DLC.
Well, yeah.
I want more.
Honestly, having another DLC would be amazing, but I don't really see how they could do it lore-wise.
Like,
I mean, they could technically do one to do with.
Like, it was somewhere else.
Yeah, somewhere else like the land of Reeds, which is the summer area, or
True.
the area where Nefeli, Poraloo was, or a completely new area, or they could do something with the Death Prince.
True, they could do something like
Yeah, just send us to the land of death.
That, or they could
Which would
just
be
do
weird.
something full Dark Souls, which is to go into a dream world.
well, that'd be Bloodborne.
Well, same point.
Yeah.
Isn't that where the Shadow Realm is? Because I mean, we do have to, go
It's
to
not in a
Nicola.
dream. It was a place that existed and they got put in shadow, or it was created when the light was made. I don't remember. Don't know.
I think it's the world where all the dead things go.
Yeah, but
Everything
I
being
think it would have to have
destroyed and lots
existed.
of-
I think it would have to have existed before, and it just was separated when the new order was made, because it had
I think
all the
everything-
America's dirty secrets in it, like where she came
Yeah,
from. She enslaved the
everything-
race. Her son.
Everything that has lost the light of grace ends up there,
Yeah.
which is another interesting fact about
I'm
the Shadow
surprised
of
we didn't
the
see
Erdtree
Morgoth
is,
there then.
well, he kind of didn't
Actually, no,
lose
he
the light
gained
of grace.
grace.
He was actually the only grace given Omen, and also you see him like technically this is after you complete the game. Technically, it's not set when, but if you think about when that thing, you play plays after you complete the game because there's no new endings. Morgoth had died, and you could see his last gift from wherever was he basically finally got a peaceful death. He died with grace.
Yeah. Where his brother didn't really get that option.
No, even if what's it called? That wasn't the case. His body was also just taken into there anyway.
Yeah, because Mikolasted him.
In the sense that
Yeah.
used his body to do something that turns out to be the final boss.
Yep.
He made a Frankenstein's monster. That's what I'm gonna leave it at.
The in the final cutscene, where you finally beat the final boss and you go into a memory, and it's the ending of the Shadow of the Erdtree. You learn some interesting lore about why Mikola turned the body into who he turned it into, because apparently they made a promise.
Yeah.
If Mikola became a god, he was going to be her consort anyway.
Yeah.
But then he fought Millennia.
Yeah. But it turns out there was a reason for that as well, because if you look at the person which we won't name's armor, it does say when a certain event happens, Millennia whispers, "Oh, promised consort, something awaits you." So the reason why she was there was she wanted to kill this person. I know this is very we're trying to space spoiler, but it's very on the nose. It's very on the nose
right
now.
on the nose now. This will be at the very end of the thing. If you do not want to...
We warned you several times. If you're still
warned you several
watching
times.
and you don't want to be spoiled, that's on you.
At this point, I'm just gonna say the final boss, because you probably already know this at this point. The final boss.
It would be really funny if I just block you out. The final boss
is Prime Rodan.
Nice.
And Mikola together. They made a promise when they were younger that they would be the promised consort to each other, technically.
Yeah.
If Mikola became a god, which Mikola kind of did become a god.
Well, actually, as of like the timeline, he was a god. That's why the remembrance you get was remembrance of a god and a lord.
Yeah. So Mikola kind of, yeah. Honestly, I don't know how that relationship would have worked in the end, since Mikola's a guy. Unless he did what his mother did and kind of transitioned.
Well, that was what Saint Trina was.
Saint Trina was a dude?
Yeah, Saint Trina was a girl.
Was a girl.
But they were the same person. It was like Radagon and Marika. It was Mikola and Saint Trina. They were one person, but he cut her out.
Ah, okay. That makes a bit more sense.
Yeah.
What the hell did I come back to?
We were talking about the final bit of the DLC. The final cutscene.
Mikola's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mikola is a bit of a hypocrite. All Mikola wanted to do was to make everything more peaceful.
From what I've seen, like lore videos, he's genuine about the whole compassion and all that. And he is trying to make a better order, but he does use people to try and get that.
He did it in the wrong way.
Yeah, because apparently he obviously used Moog, and he also people realize he also used it on Rodan. Because Rodan was someone who was very into, even though he was sure he was compassionate at some stages, but he was very into war.
Mm.
So people think that it's not really in Rodan's character to begin with. It could be, could happen, sure. But people do also think that it could also be that he was a charm as well.
But then again, when you look at Rodan's story, the only reason that I kind of think he's into the whole war thing was because he lost his mind.
No, he was always that's why his soldiers were like trying to give him an honorable death.
Mm.
He was always about war. If you look at his lore, he's always been he's General Rodan.
True.
It's just it's possible. I'm not saying it's like he couldn't like obviously be a nice guy and he could definitely drop it all down, but
Well, yes, he might have been a general, but at heart, he probably didn't want to fight all the time.
Well, I'm sure there's somewhere in the law
We
where
don't know.
it specifies like whether he was into war or not. But as of right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Well,
now
he's dead now, so.
yeah. So now with Green being back, we can now do the reviews. They're the actual like number.
Yep, the final part.
So because I went first and it was you and then Green. Let's start with Green this time.
Yep. Well, actually, no, it was you, Green, me. I ended off there.
Oh, it's Green first anyway.
Yeah. Go on, Green. What's your
What am I
review
supposed
of
to
the
say?
What's your review as like out of 10?
Out of 10 or out of 5 stars? What would be the Shadow of the Tree?
11.
Fair number. We'll allow that.
Yeah, that makes sense. You did
I
quite enjoy
mean,
it.
Yeah, the DLC's good. I mean, it's hard, and I was pissed at some points. And I mean, pissed. But I loved it. I fucking loved it.
It's what
It
you
was
would
a nice
expected.
challenge. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. And Wolf?
I would have to also say 11. It's an amazing DLC. It's one of my favorite DLCs that FromSoft have ever put out, and it has a lot of good weapons and bosses.
Mm.
And very, very cinematic as well.
Yeah.
And finally, our generous host.
Yeah. For a lot of the same reasons as you guys, though I've already thought a predetermined number before we even did this recording, and it's the similar kind of vein, but it's a higher number. I was going to give it a 20 out of 10.
Oh, okay, that's the maximum is 10 and 11 is perfect. You didn't have to go 20.
Well,
Jesus.
it's 20 now because I really like the DLC. I would argue that I like it more than the original game. Not by much, but I like. It's like if the game's like here, the normal game, it's like here.
Yeah, understandable.
It's like
21 now.
No, just no.
Just fuck you.
No. This was an answer I already had in my mind.
Yeah,
so,
it's one of the best DLCs I've ever played in any games to date. And yes, it's difficult, but it's meant to be difficult.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, all those people bitching on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it about how base Elden Ring was too easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still salty about that, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in conclusion, we all think the Elden Ring DLC is amazing.
Yeah.
You don't have to recommend.
You don't have to take our words for it, and you don't have to play it if you don't like the Dark Souls franchise. But it's definitely a game you should watch some videos on.
It's certainly worth the try, or the amount of money you want. How much is Elden Ring base, or the DLC and Elden Ring together?
How much?
£40 for the DLC.
And then that's really cheap for DLC, to be honest.
That other side it is. Yeah.
It is worthwhile, like, giving it a go if you already own the Elden Ring game. If you don't own Elden Ring, we would definitely recommend Elden Ring as well.
Yeah. So I was going to say, as a whole, should we agree? Because I said 20, you guys both said 11. So should we agree? Out of 10, by the way.
It's a 10.
I was going to say that. I was going to say a 15.5.
Why 15.5?
Or 16. It's what do you want to do? It's either okay. We want to do 15 or 16.
For the love of God.
The Elden Ring DLC is perfect.
Okay, just to make a nice round number, 15. It's a 15 out of 10.
15.
It's yeah. Are we biased? Definitely.
Yes, we are biased because we all love Dark Souls. Well, except from one of us.
Who has more of a love-hate relationship.
I played Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls Remastered. Shut the fuck up.
You didn't like the first one.
I've played Dark Souls Remastered, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring. I haven't played Bloodborne or Demon Souls yet.
I've played all currently available games besides some Sekiro.
Oh, Sekiro. That one's a bit more unique, though. Not really a Dark Souls game.
Yeah, well, it's counted as a Souls game, so that's why I just mentioned it.
It is from FromSoft, but its gameplay mechanic is different.
Mm.
Enough.
Yeah. But yeah, so 15 out of 10 is a very good score, I think. I will probably never get a score like this ever again, unless Elden Ring doesn't have a DLC.
Or they come out with Elden Ring 2.
I don't think that's ever going to
Maybe.
happen. I don't think that'll happen. Because the story, unlike Dark Souls, it's like, oh, no, there's another Age of Fire, and it's going. They could do that 3 times or whatever. What's the next going to be? You're being Elden Lord again.
Or you go to a new area, Land of Reeds, and become the Lord of the Land of Reeds.
But that's not the Elden Ring anymore.
No, it's Sekiro.
Yeah, but yeah. But the point is, 50 out of 10 is, it's the whole that being there alone. It means it's better than good. It's better than the best.
Again,
But,
we all love the Elden Ring DLC. We sometimes hate it, but out of everything, we would. Well, me and Green did.
I was disappointed. Not disappointed. I was like a disappointed parent sometimes, in the sense that I'm not disappointed with the game, but I was just, just like kind of unhappy.
We all love the DLC. It's amazing. We would recommend it. Again, you don't have to take our word for it. We're just 3 idiots who love Dark Souls.
Yeah. Though, if you ever do decide to play it, we do caution you heavily. It is, but what we agree is the hardest FromSoft content you could possibly play. It is extremely hard, especially for a newcomer.
If you want some kind of in the ballpark to how hard the DLC is in total, look at the Orphan battle from Bloodborne.
If you know what that is.
If you know what that is. It's the final boss in Bloodborne.
Or if you want a more relatable way of thinking about it, let me think. Think about it like fighting. Hold on, I'm looking through my games right now. Think about it like fighting the Ender Dragon on hardcore difficulty from Minecraft, if you want to think about it like that.
Yeah.
But you're doing it with iron gear, not
with iron gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if you forget that, then yeah, it's that kind of difficulty.
And keep in mind, the rest of the game is hardcore difficulty with not Titanite, was it Netherite armor?
Yeah.
So it's much more harder in that kind of respect.
Great analogy, guys. Let's end this off then.
Right. Well, further ado, here is Green, in green, Wolf, who's wearing an alien shirt, and me, who's wearing blue. Thank you for watching the Malarkey Game Chatter podcast, and we'll see you maybe next month.
Or listening.
Assuming Riley's video schedule works.
It's not my scheduling, it's yours. Anyway.